Hello, everyone. It's Charlton, and I saw an article at Business Insider. Now I see it over the BBC that definitely caught my attention, and it's over the developments in Syria. I've been following it. I've been following a lot of the other sort of alternative media or YouTubers on this subject who do cover way more than I know. But I know a fair amount about Israeli politics, some, in the Middle East and stuff. If you follow politics, you end up following this stuff anyways. And I do follow politics. It's talked about on talk radio all the time. And I'm a big talk radio guy. And I am a pro-Israel dude, and I pretty much always have been. And I continue to be. So, I know that's I got a lot of flack for that, which I confounds me. It really does. And I could debate that, but I don't know enough to talk about it super intelligently, but it's just common sense to me. It really is. That's what I'm going by. But the article is that an Israeli minister threatened to kill Syria's Assad, a Putin ally, as war looms with Iran over a missile threat. So basically, one of the administrators within the Israeli government, it's an energy minister, Yuval Steinitz, said that Israel could bring about Bashar al-Assad's end if it allows, military missile strikes to take place against Israel from Syria. And I don't know. I mean, if I was Bashar al-Assad, I'm pretty sure he's taking that threat seriously, because the capabilities of the Israelis are really, nobody really knows their capabilities, but people agree that they're pretty capable. They are. And with the United States as their allies, but even on their own, believe me, they're no joke. So, and I disagree on a lot of stuff that's said on YouTube about everything that's going on in the Middle East. Whether or not this could be the beginnings of World War III. That's that's part of the reason that I follow it. It's huge. But I don't think that the Israelis are trying to take over the Middle East, and a lot of the other things that are being said, I just find them ridiculous, man, flat out. So Yuval Steinitz warned that if there was an attack, Mr. Assad must know, quote, must know that it is his end and the end of his regime. And down here's the full quote. But the energy minister warned, if Assad allows Iran to turn Syria into a military base against us and attack us on Syrian soil, he must know that it is his end and the end of his regime, and he will not remain ruler of Syria or president of Syria, And basically, they're saying that it'll affect him. These things have big effects. There's a reason why they're said, and I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know whether he's saying, this energy minister is saying this solely on by himself, or somebody's directing him to say that. I don't know. It's a pretty big deal, though, and some of the details I was unaware of. I didn't realize the Iranians had such a large presence in Syria. I've known they have. It says estimated 70,000 fighters in Syria. Iran has, and likely more than 1,000 missiles and rockets in the region. That doesn't shock me, but I did not realize, or I'm not even sure I believe, that there's that many Iranians in Syria. It's very possible. There's some mistakes in this Business Insider article, which happens frequently. I make mistakes, everybody does, and stuff like that. But I find that quite a bit in certain publications. And it says here, the statement follows reports that Iran is preparing a massive missile attack against Israel on Sunday. Now, that makes it sound like they're preparing to attack on Sunday, but that's not really it's the Jerusalem Post that they're getting that from, and they're saying that was reported on Sunday, yesterday, that a retaliation strike is in the works. So, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily planning to attack this coming Sunday. So we're at the Jerusalem Post. It does say Iran is preparing a barrage of missiles to launch against Israel military positions from Syrian territory. Hebrew media reported Sunday, citing defense officials. Iran plans to avenge alleged Israeli strikes on its bases in Syria by targeting military targets in northern Israel. Mariv defense analyst Alon Ben David said. As of now, Israel is not on the eve of war against Iran, he said, but the Iranians do want revenge for their losses. Iran plans to use Shia militias already deployed in Syria, along with experts from Hezbollah, according to Channel 2 News military analyst Ronnie Daniel. The proxies would be overseen by General Qassem Soleimani, commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps abroad. Tensions have been rising dramatically between the two archenemies following the infiltration of an Iranian drone into northern Israel, which the IDF says was armed and on a sabotage attack mission against the Jewish state. Israel is said to have been preparing for a direct attack from Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps since mid-April in response to a strike allegedly carried out by the Jewish state against an Iranian-operated air base in Syria, which killed 7 IRGC soldiers, Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps soldiers. And I believe that was after our airstrikes, in response to the alleged gas attack in Syria, whether you believe that was real or not. All right, over at the BBC, they provide a little bit more sort of detail to what's developing and the surrounding circumstances. His comments came amid reports that Israeli authorities were preparing for missile strikes by Iran or its proxies. Iran has vowed to avenge recent airstrikes on its military facilities in Syria that were attributed to Israel. Those are the airstrikes, missile strikes in northern Syria in Aleppo, and I think it's Abba, Israel. And I think they ended up hitting a weapons depot. That's why the explosions were so massive. If you saw videos of and I don't have that pulled up right now. Iran has vowed to avenge recent airstrikes on its military facilities in Syria that were attributed to Israel. Israel has neither confirmed nor denied carrying out the strikes, but it has said it will stop what it considers Iran's military entrenchment on Syria. Iran has backed President Assad throughout Syria's 7-year civil war, deploying hundreds of military advisors and thousands of militiamen to the country. In an interview with Israeli newspaper, Mr. Steinitz said Israel had not intervened in the conflict so far, despite Mr. Assad's crimes against us and his people. BBC Middle East analyst Alan Johnston says the minister's warning is aimed at making clear that Israel would hold President Assad responsible for any Iranian strike from Syrian territory. Absolutely, they're not. They're saying that it wouldn't just be like they would blame Iran. They'd blame him, and he could be killed for it. And whether or not the Israelis have the actual capability to kill the president of Syria, President Bashar al-Assad, it's a very distinct possibility, in my opinion. The Israelis will hope that if Syrian leader believes he may pay the ultimate price for such an attack, he will try to rein in his Iranian allies, our correspondent said. I agree. Why do you think they're saying that? For sure. Israel rarely acknowledges carrying out strikes, but in February it had hit a number of Iranian military targets in Syria, including the T4 base following an incursion by an Iranian drone into Israel. Last month, Syria's military blamed Israel for another strike on the T4 air base that is reported to have killed 14 military personnel. I think that was right after the alleged gas attack, and after our airstrike, I believe. A number of Iranians were also said to have died in strikes on an Iranian-controlled base in northern Syria a week ago. That's the one I just talked about. All right, man, and that's that's the developments there. It's pretty serious, I think. And thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Later, man.